What's up, everybody? It's hashtag homeless back at it again. Day 51. Awesome. I'm just going to switch over to my notes already. Things to talk about today. I just can't even. Oh, my goodness. This is so. I got to get my hair cut. I can't even, my hair got so, it usually takes a couple of days where I go from I need a haircut to I desperately need a haircut. So today the haircut salons, whatever, they don't start opening for another hour. So there are enough of them in town. I'm gonna get my haircut today. It's just a matter of how far I have to walk. My goal is to not go to Supercuts. If I can avoid going to that place, it's like the worst. It's not even that hard to cut my hair, and they always do a bad job. It's Supercuts, just it's horrible. I'd rather find somebody who does a good job and then just keep going back to the same person while I'm stuck here in Jamestown. Yeah, I'm gonna stop it there. There's nothing else I'm gonna say about that. So yeah, more drama at the shelter, the homeless shelter. Now, when I got back, I stayed out of the shelter yesterday from like 7:30 in the morning all the way until about 8:30 last night. And when I came back, there was an announcement that like as if homeless people don't got any more problems, as if this place doesn't have anything else to worry about and deal with. They made an announcement that anybody who gets caught laying down on the couches in the rec room will be kicked out. They'll be written up. Like, are you kidding me, dude? Like, this is the big problem we need to focus on today. That a homeless guy in a homeless shelter laid down on a couch that's in the rec room where the TV is. You got nothing else. You got nothing else going on. You got to come up with another dumbass rule about, no, if you get caught laying down on the couch. And they said, if people keep laying down on the couches, we're going to get rid of the couches and you won't even have a couch to lay on or to sit on. Can you be any more of a douchebag? Really? I'm just going to leave it there. I can't stand this place. I'm trying not to swear. But yesterday I had to go to another social services appointment, and I met the first asshole. The first person that treated me like garbage since I've been going there was yesterday. And this is the second time I've had to go to this particular office. And this woman at the front desk, when you walk in, she's nasty to you. Like, she'll look at you and she'll be like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, why do you think I'm here? Because I have an appointment. Like, who comes here? Who just wanders in? At this particular office, there's no reason to go there if you don't have an appointment. And she got really nasty with me on Tuesday, and I'm just like, I'm here for an appointment. She's like, "Go sit over there." And I'm like, okay, fat pig. But anyway, so yesterday I have an appointment. I come in, she gets all nasty with me. She looks me up on the computer and she goes, "Your appointment's not until the 11th at 10 a.m. And I'm like, no, my appointment's today. And so I walked away for a second. I pulled out the sheet of paper that had my appointment on it, and it had a signature of the person that I'm supposed to meet with yesterday. And this is, yesterday at 2 p.m. And so I walked back up to the front desk and I handed it to her and I said, "Well, it says on my appointment sheet here that I'm supposed to come down here today at 2 p.m., see?" And she just looks at me and she scowls at me. She's like, "Well, all appointments for the 5th were moved to the 11th. She's like, "Everybody called off today." And I looked at her and I'm like, well, how was I supposed to know this? And she looks at me. She's like, "Well, you know now." And I'm like, "All right, you fat pig." I didn't call her this, but like this she's like a 600-pound fat pig walking around in this big ass American flag muumuu that she probably had to steal from this place in Wisconsin that you probably used to fly the largest American flag that's in the Guinness Book of World Records or something like that, because that's the only way that she could make that thing that she was wearing. But yeah, I mean, so that was yesterday. That pretty much crushed my whole afternoon because I had to pack everything up from the library and walk down to this place just to get into an argument with this pig and get sent on my way, and now I've got to go down there again and do it next week. So that's all these people do is waste your time, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this whole, and the fact that she treated me like garbage not once but twice, both times. And I've seen her. She on Tuesday when I was there were other people coming in for their appointments, and she's just rude and nasty to everybody that walks in that door. And I'm like, wow, like, whatever. Let's all say a prayer for her. She obviously has some problems in her life, and she needs God to come into her life. But, you know, I'm just sick and tired of being treated like trash. So yeah, I go and deal with that. I go to crazy ass Tim Hortons because I didn't feel like going all the way back to the library, because by the time I go to the library, I'd get about an hour and a half before I'd have to pack up my stuff and go back to the shelter. So going to crazy Tim Hortons, I got to sit there for 3 or 4 hours getting more work done. I finished up one of the merch items. I looked into, YouTube has 4 different commerce shops that they will automatically plug into, and I qualify for that now through the monetization features on YouTube. And so I did some research on the 4 different platforms. It's Shopify, Spreadshop, I think, is one of them, Spring, and Fourth Wall. And out of all 4, it came down to Spreadshop and Fourth Wall. Shopify you have to pay for, and I'm not doing something where I have to pay a monthly fee right now. So that was already out of the mix. Fourth Wall and Spring, or no, Spreadshop, or no, maybe it was Spring. I don't know. They have... The thing about Fourth Wall that was nice is that you can set up a shop and you can tap into their ready-made products. So I could produce some posters. There are other things, you know, shirts, mugs, all that kind of stuff. But I'm selective about what I'm going to put up for sale. And they have lots of different options in that regard. But you can also add your own products. So I can add all of the same photography using the same print lab and the same options that I'll have on my Etsy store on this other store, and you'll be able to buy stuff directly from the YouTube channel page once it's all set up. So, you know, it's another thing to maintain. It's another, time, it's all about time at this point. And so I'm going to set that up because it plugs directly into YouTube, but I'm going to leave the Etsy store in place. I'm probably going to have to figure out what to do with the domain names, you know, like give it a catchy domain name and things like that. But primarily I'm going to have people just go to Etsy because I want to build that presence up. And I'm going to use this other shop as a means to just directly connect stuff to YouTube. Ultimately, I will put up my own store that I already have. I've already built it in the past, and it had tons of photographs for sale. As soon as I flip the switch and turn it on, you'd be able to buy photography directly from the site, and there wouldn't be any third-party fees except for the credit card processing fees. So, but Etsy's really not too bad when it comes to their fees. They're competitive with credit card processing fees, so it's not bad. My biggest fee in terms of the photography stuff is paying the photo lab to print and ship the prints. So anyway, let's see. Yesterday, a couple of you pointed out, and I already knew, that the audio cut out at the end of the video. Garbage modern software. I've been dealing with modern garbage software all week long. And I don't know, people who read those horoscopes, they would say it must be Mercury retrograde, because this is the kind of stuff that happens during Mercury retrograde. If any of you read the horoscopes and want to point that out to me in the comments, I'll take a look at it. But I'm not even reading those things anymore, because I'm just trusting that God will take care of things. The Bible says specifically, don't pay attention to all that stupid crap. So, but I've been dealing with so many software glitches and bugs and disruptions to the workflow this week that I'm burned out from it. I've spent hours working around bugs and glitches and problems with software all week long. You name it, anything I've worked on, any file I've opened, anything I've had to do, glitches, bugs. But when you work in software, when you work on the computer for a living, it's a part of your life. You know, it just goes with being someone who uses software all day. You know, it's not any different than someone who has to deal with having black lungs when you work in a coal mine all day. You know, and, you know, but my experience with software and glitches and bugs just points to, don't ever expect me to be a passenger in a car that drives itself. No way, Elon. No way. I had an ex-girlfriend once whose former husband was a heart surgeon. And she was telling me, and this was over a decade ago, she was telling me that her ex was training to do heart surgery with a robot that does everything for you, like a self-driving car. And I said to her, I'm like, you got to be out of your mind. What happens when the Windows blue screen of death shows up in the middle of someone's heart surgery? I mean, the blue screen of death is really going to live up to its name this time, isn't it? No, thank you. I would feel safer eating a diet consisting of sticks of butter and double Whoppers than I would feel letting a robot do heart surgery on me. I know that when we watch the Star Wars movies, by then, they've perfected the technique, and there doesn't seem to be any more doctors in the Star Wars universe. You know, they even fixed Anakin Skywalker and gave him a badass suit to wear out to the nightclub. But, you know, since customers are now software testers, I'm going to wait until the first group of software testers find all the bugs in the heart surgery software before I let a robot do an operation on me. You know, you don't have to be faster than the droids. You just have to be faster than the slowest Ewok. That's what I like to say. You know, once again, yesterday, someone, maybe more of you, told me that if I keep sharing stories about my jobs on YouTube, that I'm not going to be able to find another white-collar corporate job. And I just need to correct a part of that statement. First of all, I don't wear a collar. The one shirt that you've seen me wear with a collar in these videos, that's been because I'm dressing up for a job interview over a Zoom meeting. A collar in my line of work is the equivalent of wearing a suit in most people's lines of work. You know, in my line of work, and people who work in software, you know, I don't even know when it began, but I think it was when everyone saw Steve Jobs showing up everywhere in a black sweater and a pair of jeans, and we all collectively felt like, okay, no more of that business casual garbage with those ugly khaki pants and the shirt with the stupid little alligator on them. You know, I'm not doing a white collar or a blue collar job. I'm in a Star Wars t-shirt and jeans corporate job. That's the kind of job that I've had since going back 10 years. Everybody who works in software shows up in a t-shirt and jeans, and you can have anything on the t-shirt as long as you're not wearing a pro Donald Trump t-shirt to work. you're good in the tech industry. You can wear any liberal cause t-shirt. You could wear a t-shirt making fun of Donald Trump and be fine, but don't you dare wear a shirt that tells everybody in the Zoom meeting that you're voting for Donald Trump. You'll lose your job. Let's see. So I got some stories. They're not work related. There was a comment in response to my story about leaving my laptop bag at the post office and walking across town before realizing that I lost my bag and everything in it. Thank God it was still at the post office when I got back. For new viewers, the bag was still there. So I had to sprint a half mile all the way across town. An Olympic runner, I might have broke the world record running back to the post office. I definitely felt it for the rest of the day. And I'm not in horrible shape. I can walk 10 miles a day and not feel the least bit tired from it. But this guy, I don't know who posted this, and it's so far buried that I can't find the username. Before I check this, before I read this, I want to go back and make sure that the video is still recording. This app has been really buggy the last couple of days, so it looks like it's still working. But it does. There's you'll notice that it freezes when I switch back and forth between the apps, but it still keeps recording the audio. So anyway, this guy said, "Yep, I've actually lost my wallet on a long bicycle trail through my city at night in a snowstorm. Whew, that's rough. That night I felt my pockets, and yeah, I knew it was lost in between 2.5 miles and probably covered in snow. Social security card, identification card, money, about $4. I replaced my ID and social security card 2 days later. Then 4 months later, the post office notifies me by mail that they have a wallet that might be mine. Wow. I went back and showed my new ID and got my old wallet back with the $4 still in it. The cash looked faded because the snow probably melted and soaked everything in it, and whoever found it just tossed it into a public mailbox. Since then, I always keep my wallet latched to my cord in my pocket, always." And so that reminds me, I have 3 different stories to go with this. I've lost my wallet more than once. The first time I lost my wallet on a 25-mile off-road mountain bike ride. We were almost to the end of the bike ride, and we stopped for a break, and I noticed that my zipper was not closed on my Camelback, and my wallet was missing. And this is 21 miles into a 25-mile ride. So I was with 2 other people. We definitely paid attention all the way back to the cars. It was an out and back ride, so it was about, 10, 11 miles out, turn around, 10, 11 miles back the way we came. So we looked for the wallet on the way back to the cars, but nothing. Didn't find anything. I didn't even have enough money for gas, and neither did anybody else that I was with. So they drove me to various trailheads that are accessible from the road. And for a couple hours, we were hiking up and down parts of the trail just looking for this wallet. Never found it. So, what we had stopped to fix someone's flat tire. And that's where my bag became unzipped. I lent some tools to somebody, and then I forgot to zip the bag shut afterward. But anyway, everybody left me in the parking lot and took off to go home, and I literally did not have enough gas to get home. I mean, I thought that was kind of shitty, to be honest, that everybody just left me there stranded. But I ended up having to cancel a date that I had later that night because my wallet was gone, and here I am stranded 20 miles from home, and I don't even have enough money for gas to get home. I don't even know how I'm going to get money out of the bank because my wallet's gone, my ID's gone, my cards are gone. So at this point, I just said to hell with it. I may as well go on a hike. And so I started from the parking lot and hiked down to where the flat tire took place. And then I just started to retrace the steps from there. And so I hiked about 3 miles from the spot where the flat tire took place. And there was a creek crossing where we all had to ride our bikes across the creek. And just before getting to the edge of the creek, there it was. Bam! My wallet was just laying in the middle of the trail right there. And when I saw it, I remembered exactly why the wallet fell out in the first place. There was a really deep rut in the trail right there, and all of us got jolted pretty hard when we rode our bikes over it. The creek wasn't even that deep, so we could just cycle across it and back up onto the trail on the other side. So we never turned around to look back. And I might have been the last one in line when we rode over the rut in the first place. But the thing is, we also rode right past this spot on the return trip to the cars. But this was before I realized my wallet was missing. And so we rode right past the wallet, all 3 of us. And it was right there, just laying in the middle of the trail. Like, how none of us even noticed it is kind of blows my mind, because it was very obvious and very much just sitting in the middle of an open trail. But it was a technical part of the trail, and, riding through that section, you were more focused on not falling off your bike than looking at things on the ground. So, but the jolt of hitting that rut in the trail was what knocked my wallet out of the bag. And so ever since that incident, which was a really long time ago, I'm always double, triple, quadruple checking my backpack whenever I'm hiking or biking anywhere. I'll pull the backpack off my back 3 or 4 times within the first few minutes of a ride or a hike, just to make sure that I zipped everything up every time. And even so, I'll occasionally slip up and leave a pocket unzipped on a bag as I'm walking around. I mean, we're all human, so nobody's perfect, but just like it's rare for me to leave my laptop bag laying around unattended at the post office like I did last week, it's rare for me to lose my wallet. But, like I said, I've lost my wallet 3 times in the last 20 years. The second time took place after the bike trail incident. And it's even funnier. Once again, I was getting ready for a date. It seems to happen whenever I have a hot date lined up. It always happens. That's always the timing of it. So I'm all ready to go, and I'm gathering everything to leave: my phone, my keys, my wallet. Where the hell's my wallet? And I could swear that my wallet was with me. I can't say 100% now. I'm questioning myself. But I swear it was in my pocket, and it was on the bookshelf here where my keys and my phone were. What's going on? So I'm looking everywhere around the shelf. Then I begin looking all over the house. And I figure I must have left it in the office at work. But I didn't know. Once again, I'm almost out of gas. It always happens when I'm close to an empty gas tank. So I rolled the dice, and I drove down to the office at 7 o'clock at night, and sure enough, my wallet wasn't there. I don't even know why it would have been. So now I have to call this girl and cancel our date once again, but she was cool with it, and she even lent me some gas money. So that whole thing worked out, but my wallet's gone. And I went back to the house. I spent hours looking for my wallet, and it was gone. I looked everywhere. Or so I thought, because that was in August. Well, toward the end of November, 2-3 months later, ski season starts back up. And I picked up some lift tickets for the ski resort that weekend. Now, keep in mind, by now I've replaced everything in the wallet. I had my Social Security card in my wallet. I'll never do that again. I had to replace that. Every credit card, my driver's license. I had about $200 cash, and that was gone. I had to replace the wallet. This was an expensive situation, and it took over 1 or 2 weeks just to replace everything in that wallet. I was so into preparedness, I even had a spare key to my house in my wallet. So now I had to change all the locks because now someone has my driver's license with a key to my house. Yeah, I've never done that since. I will never keep a spare key in my wallet again. This particular wallet had a special slot for a spare key, and I came to the conclusion that that's a bad idea. Social Security card, no. Key, no. I will never keep those in a wallet again. It was a very expensive ordeal. It was a major pain. So now it's November. We're getting ready to ski. We're at the ski resort. And I go to put my foot in the ski boot, and there's something blocking my foot from going all the way in. And so I reach in, and I pull out, you guessed it, my wallet. So everything was still in it, of course. The now useless house key, the extra Social Security card, my useless driver's license, the canceled credit cards, and the $200 in cash. My ski boots were right next to the shelf where I'd placed my phone and my keys and my wallet. And somehow the wallet fell off the shelf and went down into my ski boot. And I never even thought to look inside the ski boots and dump them out because, why would I? So the only good thing that happened that day was at least the $200 that I found in my wallet paid for the food and drinks at the Foggy Goggle that night after our last ski run. So, I was hoping I would never lose my wallet again, but believe it or not, it happened one more time. So this was my second or third day after moving into a new house. And this house was 70 miles away from the city where my old house was. And so I'd already spent the day going back and forth to the old place to bring stuff to the new place. And at some point, I wanted to go get some food, and I noticed my wallet is gone. And I've been, so frantic that day with the move and just... I'd already misplaced my phone a few times. I'd already misplaced other things because, when you're moving, everything's frantic and hectic. So that's one thing I learned from this situation is always make sure that you put your phone, your keys, your wallet, put them someplace regular, that you always put them in the same spot, and try to remember to put those things in one place before you do anything else. Because especially if you're going to be doing things that are kind of frantic and involve running around the house, doing random stuff, and just try to remember to always put those important things in the same place and do it right away. Because here I am, now I'm freaking out because once again, I'm almost out of gas. I had enough gas for one more down and back trip to Pittsburgh. Actually, I had enough gas to go to Pittsburgh, but not enough gas to come back. So I looked all over the house and I couldn't find the wallet. So I called up the bank. I still had time. I asked what I'd need to bring to get my cash out without any ID or bank card. And they said if I had my birth certificates and, Social Security cards, things like that, I could bring them and that they would let me withdraw a few $100 to get me through this problem. So I figured, well, I'll go down to Pittsburgh, which that stuff was still in Pittsburgh. I'll pick it up. I'll go over to the bank. I'll get a few $100 out, and I'll at least be able to figure things out from there. So I drove to the old house, 70 miles. Looked everywhere for the wallet, never found it. So I decide, I got to go to the bank before it closes. So I had all of these documents that I needed in a battery-operated safe. And when I pressed the combination, I heard this weird grinding noise and realized that the battery just died on the safe. And you have to open the safe to replace the battery. So now I'm contemplating taking a sledgehammer or a crowbar or a hacksaw to the safe to try and get my documents out, and I'm freaking out because I've got like an hour or less to go to the bank now. But after I calmed down, I found a YouTube video that taught me how to break into the safe. And I was able to get into the stupid safe with a paper clip. And to be honest, in this case, I was so happy that I owned a crappy safe. Praise the Lord that the safe wasn't safe at all, because that day would have been a lot worse if I couldn't get into the safe. So now I go to the bank, I get out the money, and now I have enough gas in the tank, and I have enough money to get through the next few days. I reported the card lost to the bank. Now I'm going to have to wait for a new card to come in the mail. The process has already started, but I already know what I'm in for because I already lost my wallet once. So after I get home, I'm relaxing in the room where I felt like I had last seen my wallet. And I start thinking about the whole ski boot scenario and how I found my wallet in the ski boot 3 months later. So I decide to grab a flashlight and I pull this bookshelf away from the wall. And sure enough, my wallet is sitting right there behind the bookshelf. It had gotten lodged somehow between the wall and the shelf. Somehow it got knocked behind the shelf and found itself stuck between the shelf and the wall. And so at least this time, the only inconvenience was waiting for a new debit card to show up in the mail. It was the only thing I had reported lost at that point. This was day number 1. And that was only because I had to go to the bank and get money out and, show them birth certificates and documents that had my name on it just to try and prove who I was. I think I had to type my PIN number onto a keypad for them, as just a part of the verification process. But I hadn't reported anything else lost. I hadn't begun replacing anything. So this time I found the wallet before it turned into, 2 months of hell. And I've never lost my wallet since that day. Never. Now when I travel, I always keep extra cash stashed in 2 or 3 places. And I keep certain documents with me when I travel in a zip-up folder. And I got to the point where I'd keep credit cards in 3 or 4 places, along with 2 checking accounts with 2 separate debit cards that I keep in 2 separate places when I'm traveling. So that if I'm traveling, if I'm out on a trip and my wallet gets lost or a bag gets stolen, I'll still be able to find my way home. So, now that I'm homeless and I have none of this crap to worry about. I don't have multiple accounts and all that kind of stuff now. This is something I'm going to have to work on building back up again. I don't even have enough money to store it in 2 different places anymore. In order to do that, I'd have to rip a dollar bill in half, keep half of it in my pocket and the other half in a bag that I'm still carrying with me. So that's the only way I can follow that principle right now. And then if I were to do that, they might put me back in federal prison for defacing the currency. So, I don't need any of that. So there's a few stories. There's some tips in there. Definitely keep track of your stuff. You don't realize how important something like your phone is, or your wallet, or your keys until you find that they're missing. And I'm sure you've all been there. You feel that panic attack take over. Oh no. How many times have you misplaced your keys and you're just about to leave to go somewhere and you don't want to be late, and now you got to spend 10-15 minutes running around your house trying to figure out where the keys are? They do make devices that you can attach to your keychain. You can even attach something to your wallet, and you can and there's apps on your phone that I had a Garmin fitness watch, and it had a feature on that watch to find my phone. It had a feature on that watch to find your phone. So I could hit a button on that watch and it would make my phone spaz out and make all kinds of noise. There were times I misplaced my phone in the house and I would have found the phone, but it was nice to just go, where's my phone? Hit the button on the watch and here's my phone. Easy. The app doesn't always work, but most of the time it did. And then on your phone, you can put apps with there's little devices, like I said, that make noise that you can attach to your keychain. You can attach it to your wallet. And so if you're in your house, you can use your phone to find those items. I did not ever get to the point of adding those to my keys or wallet, but they're out there, and that's something you can use. I have a feeling when I get back on my feet and things start, going my way, that might be something I look into one of these days, getting some of that stuff, because nothing will make your day. That is one thing, that losing your wallet, losing your keys, losing your phone, it's a day killer right there. Especially if you got a hot date in less than half an hour, you're done. So, keep that in mind, folks. We're all people. We all screw up. Don't beat yourself up over it too much. But anyway, that's it. I'm going to shout out the plugs for about a minute. Shop.litgood.com is where you go to get all kinds of good photography. I've got 5 glorious images for sale right now, but I'm just getting started. If you go to litgood.com, you can see a lot of my photography there, and even that's just a tip of the iceberg of the amount of photography that I've shot. There's a lot of work that I have to do before I can start sharing more. I might start putting more up on Instagram, but I've been trying to figure out how to get people to look at Instagram and Facebook and even Rumble, and it's impossible. It's impossible to build. These social media apps are 100% impossible to do anything if you don't already have followers. If you don't have any followers, you're never going to get any followers. I've had these accounts set up, Instagram, since the first week of April, and I've got like maybe 3 followers. Now I stopped posting because it just why am I going to spend, time every day posting to an app that, I could make 300 posts and have 4 followers? It's like when I can post a video on YouTube and 10,000 people are going to come watch over a period of time, it doesn't make any sense. But, everybody starts at 0. But it seems like some of these platforms are set up so that the only people who can get popular are people who already came with their own following. Or if I want to post, photos in a thong, showing my ass, or my, wearing some yoga pants where you can see my vagina if I had one of those. So, that seems to be the only way that platforms like Instagram and things like that, that it seems to be the only way to gain followers there. So I'm not, whatever, it is what it is. I'm not I don't care that much. I'm just trying to build a following to get more people to look at my photography, and because I want to make that my primary source of income someday, and just have the freedom to travel and take more photos and just show you guys that there's really awesome things out there in this world, or at least this country, if my criminal record prevents me from ever traveling the world. I just want to show you guys some cool stuff. So that's my goal. You have to make the sales to make it your living, but even if I don't, my goal is to just show you that there's cool stuff out there, and I want you to see it. So that's where I'm going to end today's show. We're at 38 minutes now. This was a long one, and so hopefully tomorrow I look a little more presentable and have a new hairdo, and maybe I'll even shave. See you guys.